For the people that might be interested in coming and taking your job, like what kind of recommendations do you guys have for getting started in casting at this point? I feel like it's much more competitive now than it was back when you started. Like we've got some pretty solid like hardcore casters in this community at this point with like Flambeau and Zipmaster Flex, Dara, like there's a lot of competition in casting.
Skiff, shout out
Oh
Skiff.
yeah, Skiff.
Yeah, Skiff's great.
Ajax.
Ajax, yeah.
I agree and I disagree though, because I think there's still a lot of room for people. I like you're not wrong to say that there's a lot more competition, and I think it's much harder to get into it and get your foot in. But I think if you have the skills and talent, I think there is an empty seat waiting for you. Is kind of where my head goes with that. But I do acknowledge, like, I don't think if I tried to get into Brawlhalla competitive right now, like if I woke up a 30-plus-year-old in, Austin, Texas, and was like, I want to do this fighting game thing, I don't think I could do it, because honestly, I think it is a young person's game. That like foot in the door stuff, like you have to be hungry and you have to grind, and there are times where it gets tiring, because let's all acknowledge that there's not that much money in esports, or in the production side of it sometimes as well. So like I think it's really hard to get into in that aspect. But if you're young, hungry, and you got the talent, I think there is definitely a seat open for you.
I'm glad I don't have to do it now, because it's like the growing pains of it is you look at anybody who's starting it now, specifically in Brawlhalla. Again, like I said earlier, it's like in the beginning everybody was just so stoked to have something. There wasn't a tournament that happened and they were like, wow, that was fun. I can't wait to do this again in 3 or 4 months, right? There's a tournament probably later that day in the same region that all the same players are also going to play in. So the fact that like the rising tide raises all boats, that like there's now a precedent that like people are good. And there's so many good people that if you're new to it, and you sit down on the desk and you're not at a certain level that everybody already expects you to be at, even if it's your first time, and there's no way for you to be that good at all, people are like, this person's terrible, they're horrible, I never want to see them again on this desk. Please get casters that know what they're talking about. Like I know for the Lost Kingdom tournaments with Veggie Mamas and like Sinketsu, when they do commentary, people will just go after them really roughly, and it's not fair, because everybody starts from somewhere and everybody should get that chance to fail and try things and learn what works, and learn what works for them, learn what works for other people that may not work for them, learn what works for them and not other people. So like everybody deserves that chance, but when you go out there, you shouldn't be held to the same standard as like BCX top 4. You have to be this good or there's no sense in practicing. I mean, it's just like if you're a player, you're not going to go out there and you're not going to win the tournament. Right. You're going to go out there and you're going to go 0-2, and then you're going to go home and practice, and then the next week you're going to go in the tournament and go 0-2, and then you're going to go to the next tournament and go 0-2, and then you might go 1-2, and then you might go 2-2, and eventually you might go 3-2, so on and so forth, and you'll make your way through the bracket. Commentators deserve that as well, because there is no science to good commentary. Well, there is, but it's also an art form just as much as there is a science to it. And I think it's really important to let those people fail at so many different levels at so many different times to figure out what works before you write them off and say like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you tried it, we get it, yeah, I hope you had your fun, but sit down and let the real gamers get in here.